The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on October 18th, 2022.
It's time now for Business Matters with your host, Pam Toompop. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, Gary. Good morning. Thank you so much. Aloha and welcome, everyone, to Business Matters radio show, sponsored by Mokulele Airlines and brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Pamela Toompop, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and today we're going to talk about fun and exciting things, including the upcoming Made in Maui County Festival, the Maui Bus, and get an update on Kahului Airport. I'll start off a little bit this morning. We've got our guest calling in, Marc, who is with Takamori, who is with the Department of Transportation for the county, and he'll talk to us about the Maui Bus. But while he's calling in, I'd love to just share a little bit more about the upcoming Made in Maui County Festival. This is our 9th year. It is the Hawaiian Airlines Made in Maui County Festival. We're very excited to have that back live and in person at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. And as you all know, we're coming off of 2 years of COVID, and we just, had restrictions and masking and social distancing. And we're coming to a point now where we can do these bigger live events, and we're so excited. This event attracts about 10,000 each year on average. Our very first year, we started out with 8,000 guests, which we were thrilled to see. And it's really built up a great following, and people have longed to do it in person, so much so that over the last 2 years, when we were going virtual, because that's the only thing we could do, when the second year, last year, of being virtual, the system crashed. Not our system, but the mainland servers that were hosting all of the vendor booths were crashing, and the servers went down, and really we had gotten a half an hour into the virtual festival when everything went down. Everybody was scrambling to get it back up, work with the techs on the mainland, get the owners of the company who were at a conference out of their conference to work with their teams, and eventually it came back up. But midway we started telling people, shop with them directly, go to their websites. We had to convert people, and we just really recognize how important this event is to these small businesses. They put their hard-earned money and heart and soul into making these products. And so when the site went down, they lost a lot of sales. Even though it came back up in the afternoon, by just after 2 o'clock, they'd lost the critical shopping time. And we reached out to Mayor Victorino and his team, and thankfully, because the rules had started to change at that point then, too. Because the rules had changed enough, they allowed us to use the War Memorial Old Soccer Field stadium, where we often see the food tents during the Maui County Fair. And we were able to use that area for a live festival last year. So that was so exciting, and that was our plan B. And we were thrilled, but you might recall there was a huge storm. And so we had planned it and promoted it and got everybody excited, and we had a large crowd ready to come, and it was a great day. There wasn't a lot of conflicting other events. And then we had that big storm and wind and rain, and the night before, we literally had to make a call to say, nope, we had to move it, and we moved it to the following week. So third time's the charm, hit Plan C, and we had about 1,700 people come and shop with us, which was really great. It wasn't the crowd we were expecting, but those who came were so excited to be out live and get to see the vendors again. And while it was a bit of a scaled-down event based on the vendors who could still make it at that time, we had a wonderful day, and the vendors were thrilled, and even the vendors who couldn't make it in person were online, and they were able to shore up this time for them, which was right before Christmas, when they'd made huge investments to create products and sell to the community and showcase them with those who truly love their products and love supporting shopping local and small businesses. So it was really a wonderful time, and everything worked out great. It was a gorgeous day that day, although the winds kicked up in the afternoon, and that was a little brutal for the vendors, not for the shoppers, but had lifted tents and things. But it all worked out, and we're coming off of that now to a time where, again, we can be live, and the vendors are so excited and have put their heart and soul into preparing for this year's event. And not only have they done that, but, along the way, a lot of people say, well, we're excited to see our returning vendors and all of the great products. But in the meantime, during this period of COVID, all of our exciting vendors who have phenomenal products already, they kept creating. And they've been creating new products that you're going to get to see this year. And these new products are really phenomenal. And so we're excited that those are coming online. But then we also have many new vendors that are coming in, and they've got new products that we're going to see. And excuse me for just a moment. I'm getting an update. Marc is trying to call in. Good morning, Marc. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So glad to have you on this morning, and we really appreciate all the work that's being done on the Maui bus, and it's so great to get an update and learn more about all of the amazing things that you are doing with the Maui bus, and learn more about the ridership and how it's grown. Marc is the Director of Transportation for Maui County. How long have you been in this position, Marc?
As director, I've been in the position since January 2019.
Oh, awesome. And so tell us a little bit about, first of all, maybe just tell everybody a little bit about the Maui bus for those maybe who've never ridden it, and a little bit about the ridership and how it's grown.
Awesome. I can do that for sure. Okay, so the Maui bus, we have three main services. So we have, the first one is the Maui bus fixed route service, and those are the large transit buses that you'll see on the road picking up riders at the various Maui bus stops on a fixed route schedule. So we have a total of 14 fixed routes that provide services, within Central Maui, Upcountry, West, and South Maui, and that service is operated by Roberts Hawaii. Our next service that we have is the Maui Bus ADA Paratransit service. So that service provides ridership or provides service for persons with disabilities who may not be able to utilize the fixed route service. So that one it's a shared ride service with advanced reservation curb-to-curb service, and riders must also be qualified to use that service through our application process. So the service is available within the corridors whose boundaries extends 3/4 of a mile on each side of the Maui bus fixed route, and that service is operated by Maui Economic Opportunity. And then our last Maui bus service is the commuter service. So that service provides morning pickups in Central Maui and Upcountry, and transport mainly hotel industry workers out to the South and West Maui with afternoon returns. So those are our primary three Maui bus services, and that's all of those services are located on the island of Maui. And with regards to our ridership, at the ending of our fiscal year 2022, we had a total of almost 1.3 million boardings.
Wow.
And if you were to compare that to pre-pandemic levels, so pre-pandemic fiscal year 2019 pretty much went through, it was, I guess, completed before the pandemic. So we were almost at 2 million boardings. So we did have a decrease during the pandemic. Let's see, so pre-pandemic to in the pandemic, we actually saw like a 53% decrease in ridership. And then from then till now, we have seen an increase. So we've, from last fiscal year to this fiscal year, or I guess fiscal year 21 to fiscal year 22, we have seen an increase in 36%. So, so when we finish up this fiscal year, the current fiscal year we're in, we're expecting it to be higher than what we ended with last fiscal year. So we're seeing an increase in ridership. so that's good. Everybody's feeling a little bit more comfortable returning to their normal schedules and getting out and, going shopping, using it for work. And so we're excited about that.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, when you think about it, a decrease would be expected given that many people were laid off of work.
Mm-hmm.
And staying home and really hunkering down or not able to get out and about and do all the things that they had wanted to do for many months. So but it's good to see that's great to have that data and to see again, okay, well, this is what it was back in 2019, but now look, it's coming back and returning, and so that's phenomenal. And it's really such a valuable service.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the other part, too, is that we're also seeing a lot more visitors returning, too, right? I mean, we know we had a lot of visitors over the summer, and so with that, too, comes a lot more ridership as well. Our higher ridership routes are ones in the visitor industry areas, so like South Maui and West Maui.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So during the pandemic, I mean, we saw a huge decrease, too, right? So people that were laid off, they're not using transit to get to work in the, Honokawai, Napili, Kahana area, as well as visitors aren't there using the service, too. So ridership plummeted in those areas, but we're quite consistent within Central Maui. So a lot of our local riders, utilize the Central Maui area, upcountry, haiku routes. But South Maui, West Maui has a mixture of visitors and residents as well. So those were the ones that were hit much harder because there were essentially no visitors, right, during the pandemic.
Well, this leads me to another question because I didn't realize that we had that much visitor ridership. So how are our visitors finding out about the Maui bus?
So I think it just depends where visitors are coming from, right? So if visitors are coming from metropolitan places, they're probably, used to possibly taking public transit on a regular basis. And so when they are looking to travel different places, especially if they're going to be here for the long term, they probably look up to see, what kind of services are provided on Maui, and then we'll get phone calls asking about our service and how often the buses come and where the buses can go. And if you're staying in South Maui or if you're staying in West Maui, the services are quite simple to use just because it's one corridor, right? So if you're going to stand on the Moka side of the road, you're essentially like in West Maui. If you're going to stand on the Moka side of the road, you're going to head towards Kapalua. If you're going to stand on the Makai side, you're going to head towards Lahaina town. So it's very simple, right? South Maui, West Maui, catching the bus. But if you're to look at within Wailuku Kahalui, a lot of it is like circular loops. So you have to really know what route you want to get on to get access, the stuff that you want to go to. Yeah. So West Maui, South Maui, with their corridors, how it was built out, makes it a lot easy for public transit to be used in those areas.
And it's nice to also know that you have the dedicated routes for the workers, for the workforce going to those areas as well.
Oh yeah, the commuter service. Yeah, that's. I want to say that's been provided for quite a while. It might actually have been in service even before the Maui bus system started up. Just to help with the traffic, I guess, congestion in the mornings and afternoons.
Yeah, it's a great relief. And years ago, there was a state program, many years ago, probably at this point it might be decades ago, where they had a rideshare program where people could, you could sign up, somebody had to sign up to take responsibility for a van, but you could coordinate these vans and do rideshares that way. And it ended. So it's great to, I didn't know that you had the commuter service, and that was available for many of our workers going to South and West Maui. So that's, when we talk about a lot of traffic options, and again, the congestion on the roads, I think that's really important to know.
So
how many visitors? How many visitors? How many passengers do you typically have on those commuter services to South and West Maui?
Let me see. I can pull that up real quick. But I guess as I'm pulling up this data, one of the things that I did want to share, since you brought up the carpool program, so the state is actually trying to start that up again.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah, so the state is not, I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to provide an avenue of, if you're interested in carpooling, you can go to their state website, and on their state website, you can go ahead and say you're interested, where you live and where you work, and then they're trying to see if they can kind of provide that connectivity for other people that might be in the same situation where you're trying to connect with other people, right, to use that service. So,
good.
They're trying to restart that, just knowing that, with increased traffic, they want to see how they can help out with.
I think that all avenues that help us, especially given what we saw during the pandemic and given the concerns with the congestion on the roadway, and also, just being more sustainable. we live on an island. We want to be more sustainable. So the more people the more cars we can get off the road, the less gas we're spending. It's a really great way to do this. And I was surprised when the program ended years ago, because I guess maybe they didn't have the same volume, but I remember that, and again, years, it was probably over a decade at least, but I remember people who really enjoyed it, and it saved them a lot of time, and for some it was great because somebody else was saying they would sign up to drive, so that meant for those that were the passengers, they got some extra time in their day to read or do things on the way out that was helpful to them, and it seemed to be in the people who were doing it, had a subsidized vehicle, so it seemed to be a great way to go.
Yeah. So, again, they're trying to bring that back and trying to connect people together. So I put up so in terms of commuter service, fiscal year 2022, and that ended in June, that ridership was shy of 100,000 boardings on it.
Wow.
It used to be a lot more pre-pandemic, but I guess during the pandemic we did suspend a lot of our routes as well, so that may have forced people to essentially drive into work. We scaled back a lot just because there were a lot of people using the system at the time. So as we're starting to ramp back up, we're seeing an increase in ridership. But we're not quite at pre-pandemic levels, but still almost 100,000 boardings is really good. I mean, you got to think that you're taking off a lot of additional cars, right? And a lot of the commuters, they love to ride the commuter bus just because you can, read a book, you can nap, right, as you're heading from Central out to West Maui. So.
When I was in my early 20s, I would drive every morning from Kahului to Kapalua. And
wow.
I would have surely loved this service. It was an hour each way, and that's a long time to be on the road. So to think about all the people that the commuter service is taking off, all those cars that are being taken off the road is really spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very exciting to know. Tell us about the different routes. And I know when the program was getting started, there were core routes, and over time the routes are being expanded. Tell us a little bit about that process. How people are feeling about the current routes. Are there new routes being requested? And if so, how do you determine when to, what kind of traffic you need or what conditions you need to expand routes?
Okay. No, that's great. Yes, so I can talk about the process. So when the Maui bus system got started, every so many years, I think maybe every 5 to 7 years, the department does a Maui bus short-range transit plan, and in that transit plan, we hire transportation planners that will come and analyze the current system or lack thereof and determine, with community feedback, meetings with stakeholders to determine what what is the ridership looking for? What is the community looking for in terms of various routes, and if it's accessible, if it's not accessible. And so in these short-range transit plans, they kind of come up with ideas or recommendations in terms of modifications of existing routes or additional new routes. And so I think since the department got started, I think we've had maybe two short-range transit plans done, and most recently we did a comprehensive operations analysis, and that's essentially looking at our current system and, again, seeking community feedback, ridership feedback, stakeholder feedback on what they believe is missing, how we can make it better, make it more convenient, and the consultants we worked with was Nelson Nygaard, their transportation planning consultants out of, I think they were out of their Seattle office. They do a lot of projects locally, and so they came in, they met with, stakeholders, met with ridership, and made some recommendations on making, I guess, the ridership feedback, is that our routes aren't as frequent, so it's not as convenient. If you miss a bus at 8 o'clock, you have to wait until 9 o'clock to catch the same bus, right? So it's not as convenient as if you lived on Oahu, where during peak hours it could be every 10 minutes or every 7 minutes the bus may be coming, right? So they kind of came up with ideas on trying to increase frequency, but by increasing frequency, you may have to cover less service area, right? So there's a give and take in terms of people may have to walk a little bit further to get to a bus stop, but you can then have maybe cut the frequency from an hour to every 30 minutes. So they made some recommendations and some other route modifications. The latest suggested recommendations that they've provided is also on the project website. So we just completed it not too long ago. So the project website is gettingonboardmaui.bus.com, and on that website they provide their recommendations on some route modifications and changes, I guess, based on
And so people can go to the website and comment on that? Or are you folks already moving forward with their recommendations?
No, so they, I guess the study is done, so people can go ahead and review what recommendations are. But we always, before a change is made, a lot of times we'll still receive feedback, right? So if there are people that are interested and haven't had a chance to meet or talk with our consultants at the time, then gettingonboardmaui.bus.com, they can go and review the route changes that's being recommended. And we receive feedback. We always take a look at what people are saying in terms of if it may work, it may not work. We always like to hear positive things, but again, whenever you make a change to any route, you're going to affect people in a positive way, but you might affect people in the negative way. So you always have to take that into consideration. Are we helping majority, but you might not be able to help everybody, right? Just because timing may work, timing may not work for others, and it's hard. It's a hard process. So again, so feedback is vital when we make these changes.
Well, I'm glad, that you folks have such a system. This is a great system where you're constantly taking in information, bringing in experts, revisiting every 5 years. That's really important. I mean, this is such a critical service to our community. I think back to a time when we didn't even have a bus system, and it's hard to even go back there to think, wow, remember what we, all the cars that we used to have on the road, and we didn't have these options, and how far people had to walk to get from place to place, but to know that this is a constant thing. We always talk about how plans sit on shelves, and you folks are doing dynamic things. So we want everybody to be able to go there. So you said it's gettingonboard gettingonboardmaui.com. Is that correct?
It's gettingonboardmaui.com.
Oh, gettingonboardmaui.com altogether.com. So gettingonboardmaui.com, and you can give feedback on the studies. We really want to encourage everybody to do it, but also learn more and see what they're suggesting, which is really exciting because I'm sure that as they're looking at this, they're making population decisions. They're looking at our census data and dynamics and population growth and projecting out for what's not only here but probably what's to come.
Right. Yes, they're looking to see. Some of the questions they asked us internally is, where is Maui? So like community plan updates, where do they see future growth? And so, at a certain point, they may say, like, depending on additional developments in terms of housing, it may be good to consider additional services in this area. So just looking from a big picture. From a big picture, they're trying to ensure that at a certain point, a lot of our residential areas are accessible and people can utilize public transit.
Yeah, that's very exciting. This is going to, I want to encourage everybody. We will put this out on in our Chamber e-news and on the Chamber website as well. Encourage people to go in and look at this. And I know you've reached out to the Chamber and we've published things before to encourage people to participate in the process, but it's wonderful to know that even though the process has occurred, again, feedback is still being garnered, and I love that you said, of course, we always love positive feedback, but we really love all feedback, because it's when the public gives us the right information and shares what's great, what's okay, and what really needs to be fixed. That's when we can make the positive improvements. And we're best practice people at the Chamber, too. We're always analyzing things and appreciate feedback, and clearly you folks are as well, trying to get the best system that we can have. Tell us a little bit about the passes. I understand, there's ridership fees that you can pay, and there's also bus passes that you can get. So can you tell us a little bit about those and how they work for different groups?
Yes, sure. So I guess from a big picture standpoint, yes, for Maui Bus System, there is a fare structure that is set through the Maui County budget process. So that happens annually. The mayor, comes up with a budget and then submits it to council. So once it gets approved by council, that's pretty much what the county's budget will look like. And in that process includes rates and fees, and that in rates and fees includes our public transit fare structure. So seeing that, we do have, if you're pretty much boarding any of our, commuter service, paratransit service, fixed route service, it's a $2 boarding anytime you board, $2 fare. But we do have discounted fares. So for like the fixed route service only, there is a reduced fare. Because we do get federal funds, we do have to follow federal laws and guidelines. So we do offer for fixed route fare, instead of the $2 boarding, you can pay $1 if you're a senior, 55 years or older, paratransit eligible, and persons with a disability if they have a valid ID, and the Medicare card holders as well. So those people that fall in that category can utilize the fixed route service and pay the $1 boarding. Everybody else would be paying $2. We do have daily passes available on the fixed route service, and that's $4. So depending on how often you're going to utilize the fixed route service, if you're only going to go on it once, then it's probably better that you pay the one boarding. But if you're going to go and come back and, go gallivanting, then a $4 daily pass for the fixed route service is a great bargain. But if you're going to be utilizing it even more, then we do offer monthly passes. So for the general boardings for fixed route and commuter service, we offer a $45 monthly pass. And then for the fixed route service, we also have a reduced monthly pass for $25, and that, again, includes seniors, 55 years and older, paratransit eligible and persons with a certified disability fixed route card, Medicare card holders, and students with a valid ID, ages 24 years and younger. So a lot of this can be, a lot of this is a lot of information. If you're not typically a public transit rider, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, like that was a lot of information. But again, if people have questions on how to use the service or what the fare structure looks like, feel free to give us a call, at our office during office hours. It's 808-270-7511, and we can happily answer any of, anybody's questions with regards to, our Maui bus service.
Okay, I'm going to have you give us that number again.
So it's 808-270-7511.
Oh, okay, I was missing that. 808, it's 270-7511, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, I was missing the two. I got it. Okay, 808-270-7511. Yeah, I was floored to hear that it was a very affordable monthly pass. And so I think you said it was $45 for a monthly pass.
Mm-hmm.
And what a great opportunity.
It's a huge bargain, because I think if you're to compare us to Oahu, of course they have more frequency, but I think Oahu's general pass might be like $75 a month.
Wow.
And then I want to say that if you're to compare us to Kauai or to the Big Islands Transit, I think our monthly fare is actually slightly cheaper than Kauai's rate. I think Big Island, they're going through a fare structure reorganization, so I think they're fare free for right now, until they can redo their policies and policies for their fares, and then I think they're going to start charging again. So right now they're fare free, but initially, before they went fare free, our monthly pass was still cheaper than theirs as well. So we have to give kudos to the county council and to the mayor for being supportive of keeping our fares reasonable as well.
Yeah, we are very blessed to live in Maui County, where we really care about our community. We're looking for ways, both on bus fares and real property taxes, and to try and help our local residents. And
right.
This is such an important program, Mark. I mean, to know that we've got very affordable monthly bus passes for people. And again, as costs are rising or we want to save money, there are other options and great ways to use the Maui bus to get from here to there, to keep roads off the highways, to save on gas, and to reduce traffic. It's really an exciting program. I so appreciate you joining us this morning, Mark. Thank you so much. Thank you for being our Director of Transportation. Thank you for all that you're doing to keep the system. I know it comes with a great team, but we really appreciate the work that you've been doing and to learn more about this valuable program.
No, yeah, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Maui day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.
We'll be right back after a brief moment from our sponsor, Mokulele Airlines.
Mokulele Airlines operates the largest commuter airline hub in the country, right here in Kahului. Fly Mokulele from Kahului to Molokai, Lanai, Hana, Waimea, Kona, and now Hilo. Mokulele also operates the only flights between Kapalua and Honolulu. There is never a middle seat on Mokulele, and every seat has a window and aisle. Visit mokuleleairlines.com and take your next flight from the newly renovated Mokulele Terminal.
We are back, and we've got Dave DeLeon on with us, and Dave is here having worked with the Maui County group for Maui County and involved in government for many different years and serving on 2 charter commissions. He is back on with us today to talk about all things Charter Commission and getting ready for the upcoming election. We've been going through different charter amendments, And Dave has been giving us valuable updates and insight into the process and what we can expect to see on the ballot. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
We are having a wild morning this morning.
I'll keep mine brief so you can move along with your schedule. I want to let you know that there are some updates. The county has now put a button on the website and at the Maui Charter Commission website. So when you go there, you'll find the official voter guide very easily now. It just jumps right out at you.
Great.
And then in yesterday's Maui News, I'm not sure who ran it, but the whole proposal, all of the Charter Commission's proposals, not the council's proposal, ran in the form of what they would look like if they were in the charter.
Okay, so you get a sense of, if you're looking at the ballot, what you're going to see.
That's exactly how the charter is going to change, is the way that thing was set up. I've never seen that produced like that before. You have to have your reading glasses on because there's a lot of print.
Wow.
But it was a good effort, and I think we're getting better opportunities for people to actually find this material and be able to educate themselves about it.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, the council stuff is not attached because this stuff wasn't set up in that format. I mean, I don't know if they have a proposal that actually just drops into the budget. I mean, it drops into the charter or not. They must have to be able to get on the ballot, but that was not produced in that document. And the third thing I want to point out is the Civil Beat is going to be having what's called a Civil Cafe event on Friday, this Friday, the 21st. From 5 to 7 at Maui Community College. Or Maui, I'm sorry, I keep doing that. Maui College. It's funny, the flyer doesn't say exactly where in the college, but I would imagine it's the old cafeteria area.
Uh-huh. And they're going to be covering
an hour's meet and greet, and then there's an hour's discussion about the charter amendments. And Shane Sinesi, Councilmember Sinesi will be there. Keone Kuoha was the vice chair of the Charter Commission. Mr. Mike Williams will be speaking, and as well as myself.
Great.
So I think that's a good place to get
So
information. And if you need to have more clarity, that'd be the people who will be in the right room to be able to ask them.
Now so this is 5 to 7. You said this Thursday?
This Friday.
Oh, excuse me, this Friday. And how do people register for that event?
No, it doesn't look like it's a walk-in that I know of.
Okay. It's a great walk-in event?
It looks like it, yeah.
Fantastic.
As far as I can tell.
Okay, so 5 to 7, walk in. We think it's the cafeteria area at UHMC.
It should be fairly obvious. It's going to be one of the big buildings. I'm pretty sure it's the old cafeteria.
Yeah. Follow the crowd. Park in the back. Follow the crowd.
Right.
But fantastic, and thank you for serving on that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Do you want to cover? Give us one or two that you want to cover this morning.
We went through the whole list. Did you get any kind of response to our request for questions?
We did not get a response we had put something out to ask if we had any questions, and we haven't gotten a response to that.
Well, yeah, I think there's been some pushback on the Department of Housing. Folks are pointing to the cost that was put out by the auditor, which was $2 million. That's a guesstimate, but if you stop and look at that cost of $2 million, that's actually the price of 2 medium-price houses in Maui County.
Yeah.
And we're short an estimated 100,000 units.
Yeah.
So if we don't make an investment of that nature, then we're being short-sighted. And
I agree. That's one of the ones that, again, we had to think long and hard. The Chamber wants to see reasonable-sized government, and any time we look at forming a new department, we want to understand what it's going to cost. and we want to understand the rationale for that, and really appreciate at least that there's a solid estimate to look at, because often proposals go forward without us understanding the value and the cost to do that. But in this case, the Chamber really, our members and the whole community, the business community and the community at large, is crying out for housing, and it's a crisis state, to the point that we're looking at letting people sleep in cars on community lots.
And celebrating it, that's a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, we need to, as you say, make an investment and really address this problem.
The one analogy I have is us not having our own housing department, a standalone housing department. It would be like a Northern California community not having a fire department.
Oh yeah, good point. How scary is that?
Yeah, I mean,
really, I love the fire analogy, because if we had a fire, and if every time we thought about housing we saw the symbol of a fire, we'd be acting very differently.
There's one other thought I wanted to bring up while we have a little bit of time to talk, and that is when the voters approach this, there's some confusion in the public about what a blank vote means on this, if you do not vote on it. And what it means is you didn't participate. It's not a yes, it's not a no. In certain parameters in the past, and I can't put my hand on exactly when that was, it was believed that a blank vote was a no vote, which means you're voting negative by leaving it blank. That's not the case in this matter. So if you leave it blank, then you're giving more power to those people who do participate.
Right.
So if you have any kind of queasiness about or sense of support for any one of these proposals, then the better step would be to actually take a positive vote one way or the other.
Yeah, it's really important that we understand that, and I appreciate you sharing that. That's a very good point, because there are certain things that still mystify all of us voters, and it's not clearly spelled out. I mean, we see that often with the county council too. People don't realize that they could vote for all 9, not just their representative, and this is also one of those things, is understanding that what does a blank vote mean.
Yeah, I think somebody suggested a blank vote is a no in the state constitutional realm, but it's not in the Maui County charter realm.
Yeah.
So that leads to a lot of confusion.
Yeah, right.
And so a blank vote in this case is you just didn't participate.
Well, I'm really glad that you shared that with us, because that's important, and I appreciate, Dave, that you were able to come on. I know we were running a little behind on our schedule, and you were trying desperately to get in. So thank you for your diligence and continuing to call, and just really appreciate you having you on. And let's do it again next week if you're available, so that we can get an update on how it went at UHMC.
Oh, we can do that. Yeah. Okay.
I really appreciate your willingness, because I just feel like, again, we don't do this all the time. We have a charter commission every 10 years, so charter amendments are not something we're used to doing every election. So the more we can kind of help educate the public on charter amendments and things that are coming up, again, like you mentioning, as we're talking more, the price of housing, the bifurcation of the Housing and Human Concerns Department to have a housing department. What does that $1 million mean? Well, it means a solid investment to help us really get where we want to go. So I'd love your input if you're willing to do it up until we get to that point where the ballots are coming out and people are still voting now.
Right, that's true. When you compare us to the other counties got like 3 or 4 at most. So we're asking a lot of the voters in this case. This is a civics lesson for the kind of forcing the voters to pay a lot of attention to stuff that is usually inside baseball. So it's a big ask, but I mean that's part of being a citizen. You got to put on your reading glasses and try to figure it out.
That's right. And we're here to help. We're trying to help, and we truly appreciate not only that you're helping here, but that you helped throughout the entire process, and it was a very long process. So we're glad to have somebody with the inside knowledge and who can speak to how it started, what the discussion was along the way, where it ended up, and give people thoughts on helping them, shape their own opinions so they can make the best choice for them.
Well, Mom, I appreciate the Chamber playing its leadership role in the community in getting the word out and helping people understand what their options are in this civics test.
Yes, this big civics test. Well, it's our pleasure. Thank you so much, Dave, for coming on.
See you later. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Have a great day. Aloha. All right. Well, we are having an exciting day here on Business Matters. We are so thrilled that Dave could join us this morning and talk about more on the Charter Commission and what's happening now with just concerns on as we look to do this bifurcation about the Housing and Human Concerns Department. Why is that important, and how did it come about? And I do want to say, this is something that is very important to the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and the reason it's important to us is, again, we're in a housing crisis, and you might know from our program over the last 2 years, really, but certainly over the last many months, that we are focusing on housing because we have a critical need and a shortage. And it's something that, while chambers of commerce are often known for the work we do in economic development and diversification and a strong, creating a strong economic environment, we've supported, long been a champion of the triple bottom line of sustainability and what we now call the quadruple bottom line of sustainability that includes culture, that to have a strong community, you need all of the components. You need the economy, you need the environment, you need social well-being. And again, housing's a big part of that social well-being piece. And now we add culture. All of those things create a sustainable community. And without housing, we're suffering. The business community realizes that they're suffering, the economy's suffering because we don't have the workforce, and families are suffering because their children are less and less able to come back. If they've gone to college and move away, they want to come back, but they're less and less able to given our soaring housing prices and lack of inventory. So it's at a time where this is really an important thing, and we encourage you to vote on that charter amendment. So we have kind of skipped around a little bit today, but for those who were with us at the beginning of the show at Business Matters, we talked a little bit about the upcoming Made in Maui County Festival, and we mentioned we would continue to talk about that toward the end of the show. We wanted to just let everybody know that, again, the 9th Annual Made in Maui County Festival is live again at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center November 4th and 5th. The 4th is our exclusive shopping day. It's also a day when wholesale buyers, everybody says, well, I'm a buyer. We're talking about wholesale buyers and distributors who buy to sell into other retail outlets. They come, and we have our exclusive shoppers. The exclusive shopping day tickets are available at the Mac box office for $50. That gives you also the opening. You get exclusive shopping opportunities without the huge crowds. You get to participate in the opening day ceremonies and the opening day reception with great food. And we just have a lot of fun on the exclusive shopping day, and that sort of warms us up and all of our vendors for the big festival day, where we see about 10,000 people coming into the Maui Arts and Cultural Center for, again, mass shopping, fun entertainment, vendor demonstrations, and it's going to be a really exciting day. And so the big festival day is $7, and again, the exclusive shopping day, which would be Friday, is $50, and tickets are available now at MauiArts.com or at the Mac box office. But we're really excited. The vendors have been gearing up. You're going to see returning vendors. You're going to see a lot of new vendors, people who started during the pandemic or maybe started before the pandemic but are getting to a point now where they're really ready to move from maybe some of the craft fair type sales opportunities to gearing up and showcasing their products in a broader way to the community. And everybody's just thrilled to be back out live. We've had so many requests. When are you going to be back? Are you back this year? We're back. And so you'll be hearing a lot of radio advertising and seeing us on television. But just know that, again, and of course we're hoping for glorious weather, but year one, it was raining, and we had people lined up at 6:30 in the rain waiting to shop. So we know the community cherishes this great event. And we also really want to thank the administration, because we've been virtual for 2 years, and so now that we're back live, that meant that to go virtual as well expanded the budget, and they've come in with additional funding. So we can also honor those who want to shop virtually from across the mainland and globe who have supported our vendors for this period of time.
Hey, good morning, Pam.
Yes, are we down to that wrap-up time, Gary?
We are, but I also think that you said it was MauiArts.com, but it's actually MauiArts.org.
Oh, thank you. It is MauiArts.org. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Gary. It's MauiArts.org for the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. And both tickets are on sale, both the $50 tickets for Friday, the exclusive shopping day, and $7 for Saturday, the big festival day. Join us. Just want to thank everybody for participating in today's show. Want to thank all of our listeners for being a part of Business Matters, and thank, of course, our sponsor, Mokulele Airlines. I'm Pamela Tumpop, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, wishing you blessings and best wishes for a beautiful Maui day. Aloha.